tax code if you want. Your choice. They rejected it here. And said, well, let's try a flat state like Kansas for a flat tax. Right there. Said, no, we're not so interested in you being able to do it there. And I think we also need to do something for Social Security and create it. And then I want us to start taking on American-sized goals, like ending deaths by cancer in 10 years. Now, this is something we can do. We've had death by cancer go down the last 2 years. If we really focus in on this and take this as an American-sized goal, this is a freedom we can give. And we need to get a lot more electricity involved in our car fleet, using a lot less oil and being a lot less dependent on the Middle East for oil. We can do those sorts of things as well. I've got a hybrid Civic that I drive. You're going to start seeing more plug-in cars. I can get about 41, 42 miles a gallon on this hybrid Civic. Now, my 16-year-old daughter gets about 28 miles a gallon on it. So it does matter how you drive these things. It's freebie, you just turn it on. Ooh, magic miles. It doesn't work that way. But we can start doing things like that and pulling together. And we're involved in a war on terrorism, which I think we've got to get to a bipartisan solution on this war, because this is the dominant feature in our political discussion today. It is a long-term effort, but we've got to get in a place where both parties are supporting. You cannot run a war in the United States with one party for it and one party against it. That doesn't things that I'm excited about in discussing with this country. I love the battle of ideas. I'll put this set of ideas up against anybody's set of ideas. We've got to rebuild families in the United States. That's one of the things. The best place to raise a child is between a mom and dad bonded together for life. It's not the only place, but it is the best place to raise a child. And we need to start speaking to the culture about that, not in terms that seem judgmental or harsh or mean or you're trying to exclude people, but just simply having a dialogue with the country and saying, you know, we do know in our hearts this is the best place and the best way to do it. And start reaching out to people in that way, because we've just got to build more families and more family units in this country. And it is critical. We know we're having the playoff games for football today, and I think I hear the Chicago Bears are winning. But families are basic units of society. That's blocking and tackling, guys, in football terms. If you can't do that, there's a lot of things you can't do. But if you can block and tackle, there are a whole bunch of things you can do. I mean, these are basics. You got to get these right. You get them right, things work. You get them wrong, you can't do much of anything. These are simple, and I don't want to get in any dichotomy fight. It takes both a family and a village. It takes as many responsible adults per child as possible. I've got 5 of them, I know. It takes a lot of adults per child to raise a kid. It took a lot of adults per me to raise me. I know that. And I was raised in a small farming community where everybody kind of watched each other, and so you had no private business. That was even I grew up on a party phone line. None of you guys will even identify with this, but there were 8 families on my phone line growing up, so there was no privacy anywhere. You know, if you pick up the phone and you're talking, there may be somebody else listening, and it wasn't the government either. People that cared, and so your sphere of ability to get in trouble was fairly limited in that type of setting. And that's the sort of belonging we need to have, and we can have, and we should have, and it'll make us better as a nation. So I'm delighted you guys are out tonight. I'm delighted you guys are a part of this. We need you. We can win with you, and with your hearts and with your efforts, we will get this done. We've got to have you serve just across the line. Reach out and tell people Brownback for president. When they say, well, what's a Brownback? Say, no, it's not a what, it's a poo. Senator Brownback. Just a sidebar, I had a bumper sticker years ago for a campaign that had, I'm a brown backer. And a guy came up to me at a rest stop in Kansas and said, are you from Cleveland? You know, Cleveland Browns, brown backer. Yeah, no. But speak out for me. And tell people, and here's why I'm in, because I think he's got the right set of values. And I think it's important. I think it's important for our time, and I think it's important for our generation, your generation, a younger generation, and ideas for that to carry it on forward. This is the greatest nation in the history of mankind, the United States is today. With what this nation has 5% of the world's population, over 20% of the world's economy, over a third of the world's military spending, over 40% of the world's research and development budget. Heavily investing in the next wave of technology. As my kids would say, this place rocks. It really moves. But to whom much is given, much is required. A lot is required of us today. And I think it's important we meet those challenges of using our greatness for goodness. And you got the basic one right here. We've got to get it right with life. All life, at all stages, no matter where it is, no matter who it is, no matter where they're located, no matter who they are, what they look like, it's beautiful, it's unique, it's sacred, it's a child of the living God. Period. That means the child in the womb, but it also means somebody elderly that's ill. It also means somebody that's in prison. It also means somebody that's in Darfur, in Africa. It's a child there. It's also somebody that's in poverty. It means everybody. We've got to fight for them. We've got to fight for their human dignity. And we will. And as we do that, we're going to prosper and grow. So I really thank you guys for being out tonight. I thank you for your willingness to get into this fight. This is going to be a very principled discussion. And the principles are pretty clear, and they're pretty simple, and they can be fairly difficult to do. But you know what they are. You join us in this battle. Thanks.
How many of you are going to the march tomorrow? How many of you want Senator Brownback elected? Alright, we're going to need your help tomorrow. Now I'm going to introduce Martin Gillespie. He's the political director for the campaign, and he's going to tell you how you can help out.
Thank you very much, Billy, and thank you, Ray, and Catholic you. Once again, you guys have delivered. You know, I left the RNC. I've worked with many of you for the last few years now. And the reason I left the RNC is because this is not a wrestling match that I want to be on the sidelines for. I wanted to get in the fight for Senator Brownback, and we need you all as well. Because while this is about the future of our country, and that is most important, it's also about the future of our party. And whether those who pretend to share our values will in fact make themselves the leader of our party. And I want to do everything I can, joining you, to make sure that Senator Brownback is that man that's going to speak for us. Very quickly, there are some very doable things that all these folks that are going to the march tomorrow can do to help us, and help us dramatically. We have put outside tens of thousands of palm cards of Senator Brownback's campaign. We're asking each of you to